a lot of this would not be possible. I'm going to hand it over to Sarah for our community awards for the Joe Gans organization, Friends of Joe Gans, Mr. Kevin Grace. I'll let Sarah continue.
Everyone coming up here. Baltimore's native son, born 1874. This year we celebrated his 150th birthday. A person that we should know. He should be prolific, just someone that just rolls off the tongue, but not many people know him because he's kind of been forgotten. So Kevin, single-handedly for the past almost 20 years, has been working to collect, document, celebrate Joe Gans. And I actually just happened to find Kevin after I was on a trip to New York and went to the International Boxing Hall of Fame and was looking at the Hall of Fame members and saw that the first class that was inducted into the Hall of Fame was a Joe Gans, and he was from Baltimore. And I had never heard of this guy. So I came back and did some research and found Kevin putting out videos. He's collected newspaper articles, everything you can think of. He's been in contact with the family, got them active in the preservation of Joe Gans' life and legacy. And so this year, Quarantine partnered with his organization to put on a year-long celebration of in honor of his 150th birthday. So we did education programs, we had fight nights, we had this Native History Day. We've done a lot, and we're also working to raise the funds for a monument that will be erected in Baltimore in honor of Joe Gans. So we just wanted to recognize you for all of the work that you've done so far and what you're going to do well into the future to honor and recognize Baltimore's native son, our hero here. So thank you so much. This is given to you.
Thank you. I just found out about this yesterday. Yeah, I've been doing this since actually 2009, and it's hard to believe it's 2025. And for a while, we had some buzz going about who Joe was, and then it petered away. But unfortunately, the media won't tell you what positive things black folks do. Just like these young people that we hear, you won't hear that on the news. You always hear about the kids stealing a car every day, doing the bad stuff. And I'm like disheartened. I'm like, wow, is there anything positive? So we have to spread and tell people good things. He did stuff, you know, even as a champion, he was fighting all the time with Jim Crow. The 42-round fight that he had in Goldfield, Nevada, September 3rd, 1906, he had to take the less part of the money. He only got $10,000 and his opponent got the $20,000, win, lose, or draw. And terms were dictated to him. He had to be weighed with his gloves and shoes on. If he didn't make weight, he lost. But he did other things in this community. He just wasn't an athlete, he was a businessman as well. The hotel downtown, he's the first black man in Baltimore to have a car. He hired Dewey Blake to be one of his piano players at the Goldfield, and I do have a historical plaque where the building was, East Lexington and Colvin Street, right on the other side of the parking garage of the post office is right there on the corner. And the building got knocked down in December of 1960. He died from tuberculosis at age 34 and a half in August of 1910. But hopefully you'll tune in and look at more stuff. My YouTube channel got disabled for whatever reason, so I'm trying to build some of that stuff back up again. But don't let folks tell you that we aren't champions here in Baltimore. The president, unfortunately, will be coming here next week, and he tells you that this is a rat hole place and all that stuff. We know what good stuff comes out of Baltimore and everything else, so be proud of who you are and continue what you do. And I remember when Sarah Foss came to me and told me what she wanted to do with this, and it's beautiful. It takes a village to raise a community. So continue doing what you do, because this is different than some of the other boxing gyms. It's not just boxing. Knowing and being the character person in and outside of the ring are two different things. So you may know some boxers and you see some of them getting in trouble outside, but continue to do good stuff in the community and just keep your head up.
Hey guys, yours truly, Kevin Grace, and I want to thank Corner Team Boxing for this award, the Champion of Champions award, which I was really surprised and found out about last minute about, that they wanted to give this to me to honor me for the work that I've been doing with Joe Gans. And it says on here, in recognition of your exceptional dedication to promoting and honoring the life and legacy of Joe Gans, 2025. And it's been a long journey. I've been doing this since 2009, and I thought by this time his name would be a world said out of people's mouths again, like it was when he was live. But you know, I guess like anything else, if he's not part of the narrative people want to push, then you're not going to know. And I've been doing my darndest, and now social media has come aboard. I've been trying to use that as well to let people know about the accomplishments of Joe Gans. And if you don't know, he was the first black American boxing champion. His title reign was 1902 to 1908. He knocked out Frank Aaron a few seconds in the first round of May 12th, 1902. He had a rematch with him from in 1900 when Joe got his eye almost like taken out. He got thumbed in the eye and he had to stop. The bout was stopped. And so 2 years later, he was able to come back and he wound up winning. And he also has the longest boxing match on record of 42 rounds. That was September the 3rd, 1906 in Goldfield, Nevada, defending his title against Oscar Battling Nelson with one of the biggest purses ever at that time, $30,000. And because of Jim Crow rules and everything else at the time, as a champion, he's taking the least of the money. He got the $10,000 and the, Battling Nelson got the $20,000, win, lose, or draw. So, and the fight was under the Marquess of Queensberry rules with 3-minute rounds, 2-minute break. So, you know, and weighted gloves, and you were weighted in for the fight as well. But anyway, I've got several other media things for you to, social media things for you to join, so you can learn more about Joe Gans if you do not know. Friends of Joe Gans, which is on Facebook. I post different pictures and tell you about any events and things like that. And I do different documentaries and different stories about Joe Gans, and I post that on my YouTube channel, which had recently got deactivated by YouTube, so I'm putting all those videos back up. So just put my name in and Joe Gans, and the stuff that I posted will pop up. And it's been sad that the media hasn't really been covering Joe. Now, last November in 2024 was his 150th birthday. Now, we did an event at the Peel Museum, which is right across from City Hall, and of all times, there was a drug bust that happened a few days before that, and they wound up doing a big press conference about that. And the mayor, he was supposed to be at our event, and he opted out at the very second of that day. He sent the email, and you know, the governor and all the big wigs and the police chief, they were at this press conference for this drug bust. And it was the same week of Thanksgiving, and of course later that night the Ravens were playing Monday Night Football, so people will probably be talking about that the next day. And so no television cameras came out, which was very frustrating. With all the 4 channels in town, nobody can come up with a camera to be there. So the only media was there was the Baltimore Banner. Basically, the Baltimore Sun doesn't exist, so they did a nice covering of Joe. But it's been frustrating. I've been doing this for all these years, like I said, since 2009, and you know, just like I said, it seems like it's not their narrative. They'll just cover the negative things on some professional sports athletes. You know, if somebody has a DUI or beats up the girlfriend, they'll be covering that. But when a positive black man does something positive in his neighborhood, who wasn't just a sports athlete but a businessman, he owned a hotel, the Goldfield Hotel. I've got a video on that as well, so check that out. They don't cover that. So it just seems very sad. But that's where you come in. You know his name, spread his name and say his name. And, you know, it always seems like they tell you the same people over and over again. The Thurgood Marshalls, the Cab Callaways, Billie Holiday, UB Blakes, who worked for Joe at the hotel. So you hear those names all the time, but you don't hear other people that came a little bit before them. And that man is Joe Gans. And I'm going to show you where I'm going to place this really nice plaque. Come on. So guys, I got the perfect place for the plaque to go to, right on my wall of different Joe Gans pictures. This is a painting that a friend of mine, Paul Wilson, did of Joe Gans. It's a really, really good painting of Joe. It's taken from an actual picture of Joe Gans, and he did a oil painting of it. And this is a picture of Joe Gans. A friend of mine had it blown up and put on this big canvas like this. It was really nice. A friend of mine, Chris Worrow, did that for me. And then a friend of mine had given me this picture of UB Blake, who actually UB Blake played piano for Joe at the hotel that Joe owned. Joe hired a young UB Blake to be one of his piano players. And it has a slip of paper and it's got his autograph on it. And this is a picture of Joe Gans' baseball team, the middle section Giants that he played on. And of course, this is a very cool picture of Joe as like I said, not just a sports athlete, but as a businessman with his top hat and just looking really sharp. And this picture here is a blow up of the city paper. Back in February of 2010, they did a story about me and about Joe Gans, and this is a blow up of it. And this is a copy of the Baltimore Sun newspaper. They were covering what I was doing about Joe Gans. So this is actually a metal print of the newspaper article. And of course, right here is where the award is going, right there. I got a perfect spot for it.